What's happening, Hardscapers? Let's talk about how much a retaining wall costs. Let's get into this. So if you listen to the How to Hardscape podcast or other things that I do, you know that I talk about pricing a lot, and we use the How to Hardscape headquarters software to do our pricing, which allows us to recover our costs on our job, including direct and indirect costs, and adding a profit margin on top of that to make sure that you're going to stay in business for the long term. But today we're going to break down how much a retaining wall costs between the materials, labor, indirect costs, and profit for the business. Now, it's important to note that we will not be able to add in all the costs of a retaining wall because every site is just going to be different. This is because we could be cutting into a slope, which means more excavation, or we could be filling, which means less excavation. We could also be leveling out an area in front of the wall to create more usable space, which would mean more excavation and grading. So for the purpose of this example, we're going to assume a perfect application as shown here, where we are adding in a wall right here. And we're going to base this example on a 100 face foot wall. We're going to do 50 linear feet at 2 feet high. So let's get started with the materials that this is going to cost us, starting with the excavation. At 50 feet with our trench, which includes at least 6 inches in front of the wall, the depth of the wall block, in this case we're going to do 8 inches, plus our minimum 12 inches behind the wall block. We're going to be excavating 6.5 yards, or about 7.5 yards once we fluff up that material, because it's compacted in the ground. Once we start excavating, we're adding air into that material, which means it's going to be larger in volume. In addition to that excavation, we're also going to have to excavate the backfill area, because that excavation only takes into factor our base. For the backfill area and behind the wall, we're going to have 50 linear feet at 24 inches in height. That's going to be another 3.7 yards, or around 4 yards with the fluff. So with that, we have about 11.5 yards in total with our fluff, and that's going to be about $800 in disposal with 2 6-yard bins. Now, we run bins for our excavation and disposal. It keeps me on site longer instead of having to drive off site, load a trailer, drive off site, and dispose that material myself, come back, do the same thing. But in reality, the labor that saves me remaining on site actually saves us money. If you factor in that anytime I leave site, it's going to be at least an hour going somewhere to dump, coming back, the process of actually having to dump and pay and get out. And if I'm having to do that multiple times, if I have a smaller trailer than 6 yards, you can definitely save a lot more by disposing of it this way. And plus for us, we're still having to pay quite a bit just to dump. Now, in some areas, you're gonna actually not have to even pay to dump, or you know somebody that you can dump in an area, or it's a very minimal cost. But for us, it's only getting more and more expensive to be able to dispose of excavated material. So this cost is gonna vary from area to area. Getting into the base preparation, at a 50 linear foot with our base material, at 8 inches in depth, which is our base that we do, minimum 6 inches, we would be at 3.7 yards. We might as well bump that up to 4 yards because we can also use that in the backfill, because we're going to be doing an open graded base in this scenario. So that's 3/4 inch angular crushed stone clear. That means there's no fines in it, and it's the same material that we're going to use in our backfill. So at $40 a yard, we're at $160 plus an $85 delivery dump. And once again, getting that delivery dumped, that just means I'm saving myself on site and doing the work. And in reality, if I'm going off and doing that, I'm at least charging $85 for that, for the wear and tear on my vehicle, as well as my time to be able to do that. It's not like you save $85 doing it yourself. There's a cost-benefit analysis in this that you need to do. But at the same time, we can get our backfill gravel delivered. As I said, we're going to use the same material. So we have 50 linear feet at 20 inches in height. So we're not covering the entire height of that wall, because we're going to have a little bit of topsoil on top of our backfilled material. So it's going to be 3 yards at $40 a yard, an extra $120 for our backfilled material. We're also going to have a perforated pipe in behind our walls. So that's going to be $100 for a 50-foot run. And then our wall blocks. So we're doing 100 face feet, but we also have a buried course of 6 inches. So we have 100 face feet, that's 50 linear feet at 2 feet high, but we also have a buried course that we need to factor in, so that's 6 inches. That's 125 face feet total. And this material that we're going to be installing is about $30 a face foot. That's about a mid-range quality wall block. You can definitely get cheaper, but you'll notice that going cheaper doesn't save you a whole lot in terms of the entirety of that project. And you're only getting a cheaper wall block being installed. So that comes to $3,125 for that wall block plus a $180 delivery charge. Same thing as getting that gravel dumped. It's going to save us time and lots of trips to be able to pick up that wall. We also need caps. So these are going to be concrete caps that match our wall block. I don't use this material. We typically opt for a natural stone capping stone just because I really like the look, and it comes in much larger lengths. But in this case, we're going to keep it to a concrete wall cap that matches this wall block. And these are $15 a linear foot. At 50 feet, we're at $750. To compare that to a natural stone wall block, it's likely about $2,500. The adhesive that we use for our caps is going to be $50. And for this retaining wall, we don't need to use adhesive on every single course. We're just using it for our caps because this specific wall comes with plastic clips that you put in and lock course to course. And then finally, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup with some topsoil. Once again, on top of that drainage area and maybe a little bit in front, probably about $50 for that. So with all that said, our material total is $5,520 or about $4,065 in US at today's current rate. And that's just in materials. So if someone is charging $55.20 a face foot or $40.65 a face foot in US dollars, you know that they're cutting corners to be able to build that wall. And that would be an exposed face foot, not taking into factor that embedded course. So in our example, 100 face feet. Now for this wall, we're also going to assume that there's no geogrid necessary for it. And this will depend on your wall block that you choose and the wall height that you build to. So it's important that you make note of the manufacturer's specs for the wall. Next, we're going to take into factor the labor for this. So getting into the excavation, I've budgeted 10 hours for the excavation. That includes the base and the backfilled area. We have the base preparation at 8 hours to prepare that base. And since we are getting the backfilled material delivered at the same time, bringing that into the backyard, or we can also be working on that initial course while we're bringing in that backfilled material, which I have the initial course set at 5 hours. We're about 1 hour per 10 linear feet in preparing our initial course and getting that level. With our subsequent courses, I have 4 hours, about 1 hour for each additional course. We have 4 additional courses on top of our buried course. For our backfilled area and drainage, we have 5 hours. For our caps, installation, and adhesive, we have 2 hours. And then finally, clean up topsoil, about an hour. This comes out to 35 hours. We would have 2 people on this project, so that would be about 70 people hours. And for this example, I'm going to be using $50 for those 2 people working between their wages. This could be a $30 employee plus a $20 an hour employee, or this could be 2 $25 an hour employees. However you want to break it up, $50 is just a good, nice round number. So $50 times 35 hours, that's 1,750 hours. But we also have to factor in payroll taxes, insurance, vacation pay, paying them a livable wage. And that's going to add about 30% more in our area. So we're going to add $525 to that to bring our labor total to $2,275 or $1,675 US dollars. And with that, just our direct costs, that's materials and labor, we're at $7,795, and I'm just paying for those direct job costs. So if someone is charging $77.95 per face foot, or in US $57, you know that once again they're definitely cutting corners somewhere, because that means that there's nothing left for the indirect cost of that business as well as profit for that business to be able to survive the long term. So let's talk about those indirect costs. Business owners in the hardscape industry take on a lot of risks with employees working in the field with heavy equipment, driving to and from job sites, the cost of equipment and labor on top of that. There's a lot of risk involved with this. So we do deserve to make a healthy profit for what we are doing. But before we get into profit, let's talk about indirect costs. It's important to note that for a business in our area, we're only going to operate 8 months of the year because of winter. We have less time to recover our costs, so this would mean our pricing would be higher than a business that works 12 months of the year or full year round to recover their costs. So for example, yard rent. If it is $12,000 a year, I only have 8 months to recover that cost. That's $1,500 a month I need to recover in my projects. But a business that works 12 months of the year, they're going to recover $1,000 a month. Not every indirect expense is the same as that. For example, marketing. It's not like we're going to be marketing throughout the winter, but year-round expenses like rent is something that we need to consider to recover that in our 8 months. Also, businesses are going to have different indirect costs or overhead. So this is where pricing discrepancy comes into play, as well as how long that business thinks that project is going to take them to complete. So let's talk about different indirect expenses. I have a full list of them, from accounting, advertising, automobile expenses, bad debts, bank charges, cleaning, computers, contributions, credit and collection costs, conferences, dues and subscriptions, education and training, because we want to make sure our employees are trained well, liability insurance, building and equipment insurance, interest expenses, licensing, legal fees, meetings, office supplies, payroll expenses, rent, software, taxes, cell phone, tools, travel and entertainment, uniforms, utilities, and so on. If you don't price these things into your projects, these will come out of your pocket. And you won't be able to stay in business for a long period of time when you're forking over cash for these large expenses of your project. So the easiest way that you can recover these costs is use a software like How to Hardscape Headquarters, where you can create a budget and know how much percentage of these costs need to be applied to a project to be able to recover it. Other things like equipment depreciation. Just because you own a piece of equipment doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be replaced in the future, and you need to be pricing the projects appropriately to recover the costs of that depreciation. So that's your truck, trailer, skid steer, saws, and so on there that needs to be recovered. Once again, this is where this number will vary from business to business depending on how lean they are, how many crews they have, how many employees they have. This is going to differ greatly, so I really can't even put a dollar amount for this project on this. But what I will say is a healthy gross profit margin for a hardscape business to do a project like this is around 50%. Use that as a guide, not the exact truth. So if we're talking a 50% gross profit margin, that means gross profit, revenue minus direct costs for that project. And it's not even a clean direct cost that we have here because we're not factoring in our cost of goods, equipment, fuel, and so on that goes into that equipment. Not to mention, this is the perfect scenario for building this specific retaining wall. So if our direct costs are $7,795, our gross profit margin of 50%, we would multiply that by 2 to get $15,590 for this 50-foot wall, 2 feet high, or $11,500 US. This also translates to $155.90 per face foot, or $115 US per face foot. And that is how much a retaining wall costs, once again, under perfect scenario, which is never the case, and a lot of ifs with this, but at least it gives you a guideline of how to get started in terms of pricing, and everybody's indirect costs are going to be different. That's why we use the How to Hardscape Headquarters software to help you understand your indirect costs and to price projects appropriately. Another thing that business owners leave out is their own owner's salary. The profit is the business's. Your owner's salary is your business paying you as an employee, which needs to be done. It's the main reason why I see a lot of people not understanding their numbers and just saying that the profit is just what they'll pay themselves with at the end. It's the wrong way to look at it. You have a lot of time wrapped up in your business, especially if you're in the field installing. You also have time in the office, time spent with clients, estimating, consultations, and so on there that you need to recover. But I hope this has helped you understand how much a retaining wall costs. And while you're at it, why not check out this video on how to actually build a retaining wall. We'll catch you on the next video.